Hello. I'm still grabbing the second camera, but hello. I see that there was at least one person already just sitting in the stream waiting, so I'm here. Hello. Uh-oh. No, we're not doing that. No duplicate streams, but thank you. Where are you doubling up? There it was. Hello, Michelle. Welcome, welcome. I had to get this phone plugged in or she's not gonna make it. Hello, Rubinks. As you can see, there's a cat right here. Oh, that's hanging low today. Like, how high up can we make this thing? It was 3:59 and I was still trying to do other things, and I was like, you have a minute. you should try getting set up. We do love our Tom Bombadil. You are correct. I mean, he's inescapable. Super cute, but inescapable. And sometimes I do want to escape him. Believe it or not. So hello, how are we doing, y'all? I didn't stream at all on Friday. So when this morning stream came around, I was actually late. I was late by a good, 15 minutes? Just whoops. I kind of forgot that I was supposed to be doing it right when I did it. So I'm actually on time today, even though my camera wasn't quite ready. I'm debating if I'm leaving the glasses on. They help my eyes be less pained looking at screens all day. However, I don't like the way that they reflect the screen so much. But that's okay. I'm going to just keep them on today, because I want my eyes to live forever. However that works. I like every time my phone gets a notification, it buzzes, and I just see that camera like vibrate a little. Oh well, what are you going to do? Ugh. Well, howdy ho, my friends. I sent out an email somewhere. I didn't do any social media posts today. I pretty much made it to the morning stream late, and then I went and went to the gym. Kind of short. I feel a little bit bad about it, but my climbing partner had things to do really quickly around the time we were climbing, so very short climbing period. And then had lunch, and now I'm here. I should really buckle down. We're in the last 72 hours, y'all. We're in the last 72 hours. Is this set up right at all? Sure is. Ugh, look at that unfortunate video. I wish I could make that go away. Hi, Tom. You sitting up? So yeah, we're at $122,000, which is super cool for the Oracle dice. Oracle dice are still pretty expensive to produce right now. It turns out tariffs still big. But I did actually talk to a manufacturer who is quoting a lot lower price for the dice themselves. And so I might get samples from them and see how those look and feel. Because if we could save a decent amount of money on the cost of production, that would really help offset the tariffs. And it'd make the tariffs smaller, so that would also be cool. I also want to note that during our stream this morning, we did check in and see that the last project that was not yet funded was $14 away. So I put some money on there, and also some of the other people who were watching put some money on there. And yeah, we did it. Terratopia, 13 out of 13 projects. Done. Onion, speak of the devil. Yes. So that's awesome. I'm really, really excited about that. It looks like 16% of my backers also went and backed Midnight Ocean for Cage Davies stuff, which is super cool. You get a bonus pin. If I can get down to it, goodness gracious. Who made this campaign page? You'll get this lovely goblin pin that I designed based on Sam Dow's pin designs. So if you do back Cage, you'll get that from me, and you'll also get Cage's really cute gulper eel who ate a die. We also have the 7-print set of the Keykeeper's Lords, which is available as an add-on now, but if you backed in the first 48 hours, you did get these for free. Trivia contest winners get a mystery thing, still hasn't been shown. If we reach 700 chests claimed, I haven't talked about the achievement goals at all, because they're like the stretch goals, but they're a little weird on this project. But I wasn't sure we were going to get near them. And I think pretty much any of these are kind of like out. But the 700 chests, I don't know. It's still possible. We'll see in a couple days what the chest numbers are at. But if we get 700 chests, we will unlock a third color option. Hi, Mythic Mystic Moon. Awesome. Well, we just started the stream, so you've got a good hour and 50 minutes to hang out if you want. Yeah, we'll unlock a third color for the chest if people would be interested in the third color. I thought that these were both darker colors, so I was thinking about going for like a white one. I thought about going for a pink one. I think pink would look really cute. I don't know. I would definitely do a poll, because I have to order at least 200 of each color. So I would want to make sure that it's the third color that people are really hyped about. I think black is pretty straightforward, and green is just, it's a nice color. I don't think we're going to make any of these ones here, which is a little hard. I was hoping we'd hit 1,000 of each dice set order. I didn't think that would be too hard to reach. Last time around, we did 5,000 dice sets. We produced 5,000 dice sets. And yeah, we just not getting there. So I think that these are probably just going to stay locked, and that's okay. But over time, when we get to our finale stream, where we get to carry on the stuff, we'll see. We'll see how that all unfolds. But there will be goodies to share on that. I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to the normal thing we're doing here. Look, Tom moved to be more on the mat. Sky blue would be nice. Yeah, I think like that's one thing. Like a light color. I think white might just be a little too stark. I think like a soft pink, a sky blue, those could be really nice. And I agree. I wanted to do new Lord forms because I really wanted each die to have some kind of like presiding entity. Ezra wasn't sure how much time they had to do more Lord illustrations in the next couple months. And also, we just, not enough extra money came in on the project. So maybe that's a later thing. You know, when I do a reprinting of the 3rd edition stuff, I'll be like, here's the Keykeeper's extra stuff. I don't know. New Lords. That would be fun. Always an option. Am I attempting a full set reading today? I did say that I would consider doing 44 dice. Now, I don't have 44 dice, right? I actually only have 43 here. I don't have the astrology die. I didn't want to draw tiny little things on the D12. Maybe that's on me. And I don't have an astrology die. I have tarot dice somewhere. I'm not sure where. Hard to say. But yeah, let's do it. We'll do like a 43 dice reading here. What would that even be? And how's Tom? Is he doing well? Tom is doing amazing. Is he staying out of the dice though? No. this morning I rolled some dice and he literally swapped it. It hit me and went on the floor. He's a little creature. Use a regular D12 and a numbered list of signs. That's fair. All right. Hold on. I need a D12. Let me just go grab one. Dice bag. All right. D&D dice bag acquired. Well, Tom just loves a cute little thing. Alright, where's my nearest D12 in this hellscape of a bag? Oh no. Here's one. Cool. That works. Good, he's doing well. Bad, he's still infatuated with dice. That's such a, that's such a cat thing. They can't help themselves. This is where all the chat is going on. Yeah, Kim. Yeah, there's a whole chat. All right, let's see. All right, this is all 22 dice there. I must struggle with the astrology die. Be patient with me. Wait a minute. Where's the chaos die? Tom, did you do something with the chaos die? It's not here. Is it under your butt? Did you take it? Oh my gosh. Oh no. I guess I can grab it from this set. Nope, not that one. That one wouldn't work. That's a stone dice. Well, Tom, what'd you do? Where's my dice? They're not right here? What? Alrighty, Tom. I have questions, young man. What did you do? Did you steal the chaos die? You still have that little lump right here, which I really want to get a look at, but you don't want me to touch. Alright. Did I do something? Hey, it's not there. Yeah, the die reading should be about where the chaos die went. No, you can lay down, bud. I was just moving you to check under your butt. Oh, no butthole on camera, Tom. That's not majestic. Huh. Well, How, where, why? That's mine. It's not even an extra one. That was my chaos die. And it's mysteriously somewhere else. So, in the very funniest moment, I guess, of all the dice to go missing, it was the chaos die. I just was pushing them together. I was like, wait a minute. Where's the other D12? So, I guess it'll be a 43 die reading about what Tom Bombadil did with that die. Do I have all the others? Maybe is a good question. Pretty easy count. Yep, 21. And this is 22. Yeah, just missing the chaos die. You know, go figure. I feel like I took it out of a reading the other day. And I wonder if I set it somewhere on the side. And then it went missing. Not that my office is a mess or anything. Do they even all fit in your hand? Of course they do. Somehow, maybe. It's 22. Oh my gosh. 21. Oh gosh. Do they even all fit in your hand? All right. I believe. Oh. Oh no, this is horrible. Oh god. The chaos. We have 2 lost dice. They're down here in autumn. I'll put them over here. Well, whew. We have 5 lost dice, actually. You can see those ones. This one's way up here. Yeah, I've got decently long hands, maybe. My friend I was just climbing with actually has bigger hands than me. I should have asked him to come in and just roll 43 dice for me. All right. This may surprise you, but this is my first time reading with all of the dice. I've certainly never done this. So let's see what happens, what we get. All right. Wow, there's so many things to look at. I've never... All right. Work progress. Gift given. And a path forward. Okay, so a gift was given. The path opens to work or this line of dice here, which is disappearance, the bones, and opening. Oh. Did you know there's a lot of things to look at? All right. Well, I'll just do my best to dive in. My question is, what does the 6 on the astrology die mean? Can it be Cancer? Can that be Cancer because I'm a Cancer? But I don't think it is. If I got like a standard astrologies. Give me like a little standard astrology chart. Yeah, see, I was thinking like 6th month 2. Is it like Cancer? No. Because it starts with Aries, generally. It starts Aries, which is in March. So the 6th one would be Virgo. That's terrible for me because I have no idea what Virgos are like. Someone will have to assist me. The astrology die is added because I know people will want it. It is very much like the chaos die for me, where it's not for me, but I know it's for people who will be using the set. So I will hand that off. Hi, B&W. Welcome to our 43 die reading because somebody lost the chaos die. Somebody is me. All right. Well, someone help me with Virgo and what Virgo is about. And I'll come back around. At our core of the reading, we have the gift given. The gift given gave an opportunity for the progress of work, or in the other path, disappearance, things leaving and moving away. The bones of the thing, which is the bare minimum bones of something. And opening at the end. It looks like the options are either further your work experience, your work life perhaps, or experiencing something transient, returning to the bones of what you're trying to make, and finding a new opening, something that isn't your work, that isn't your projects, that isn't the things that you typically do. It's a new path forward entirely. What's really interesting here, right, is that Yeah, that's complicated. Disappearance and bones are in mind. Mind is going into spirit. The opening is spirit. Work is over here in body. So it really is like you will have progress in your work on the things you do. Or you can let the transience of your thoughts like kind of take over and really strip things to the bone in your life and find a new path forward spiritually that will take you further. In mind, we have a really beautiful line with split path. Right here, we have wheat, because I have to pull out the cheat sheet cards to plug them. Look, cheat sheet cards make learning easier than ever. Even in a reading as hellish as this. Wheat is the harvest of your labors. It is how you make bread and how you sustain yourself and others. That leads into more labor. It looks like enjoying the fruits of your labor don't necessarily absolve you of the labor. And that leads you to isolation. You are always in a place of work sustaining other people. This reaches the closet. The closet splits in two directions here. We have a pledge to others in body, which very, very connects here. The pledge to others is going to be continued loyalty towards them, and then scavenging on the other side. The paths here are either driving home your labor for other people and always putting everyone before you, or on the other side, you can start to scavenge for yourself. These are interesting because they're viewed as separate paths at the end of this line. But I am wondering if they're not sort of the same. Coming over here, we had Virgo, which people were telling me are about perfectionists, implying information in the world over time. Scientists, fine-tuning, tinkering. Love that. Thanks. We have sorrow connected with that and the train. There is motion occurring. People are heading in a direction towards perfecting themselves, taking gifts that they have to view the world maybe in a different way, view themselves into a final form in some manner. But the sorrow is telling me that there's like some big loss connected to this. There's a giving up of something intrinsic to your person. I'm looking at my cat. I'm like, if you're going to come up on the desk right now, you need to be the most delicate man in the world. Yeah, that's what I thought. It looks like reaching perfection is a labor of the opposite of love. This is going to be sorrowful and really crushing. I see the empty sun over here really, really driving this home. You're hitting an empty space here where you're out of focus, drive, and energy because everyone around you is pushing for reaching some kind of crescendo of self, reaching the ultimate forms that they can reach, perfecting what they're working on. And yet everything you do is constant work that leaves you in isolation, and you have to pick between your loyalty to others and whether or not you want to scavenge enough for yourself to survive and be happy. Out here, we have the helm on the verge of spring and woe. We also have 4 that was lost in spring, and we also have change. You get a general feeling that everyone is changing and shifting. The problem for you is that you're so stuck on one path, this constant sustaining of other people. You don't get to change. You don't get to perfect. You don't get to grow in this capacity. The helm here, verging spring and mine, is telling me like so much of this is what you are weathering day in and day out. The 4 being lost out here tells me that there is foundation made by your constant labor, but it's something that isn't present now, and it certainly doesn't feel like it supports you now. And that's a problem. It will only really come about later, and that leaves you really stranded. Coming into body, we obviously had all that going on. We also have Earth on the elements die, which is telling me that there's probably just like so many individual things that you're doing to sustain and create this foundational space for other people to sustain them. The thing that you're not gaining much of. Yeah, get out of here, kitty. I do see goals over here with. Oh, okay. I was like, goals. Yeah, you have like a really foundationally formed goals that are going to help you maintain your drive. But then I'm like, oh, it's with reflection. You're really probably going to hesitate to have goals because you're in such a headspace of how do I regain understanding of what it is I even want, because I'm so stuck in this space of sustaining others. We do have the fist, which was lost out here in summer. I brought it down so we could see it. Or it wasn't even lost. It was very, very high. You just couldn't quite see it. Um, this looks like there is just kind of an overall feeling of struggle throughout summer, which is the period of action and work. And this struggle paired with all this stuff just feels not ideal. It feels like you're really, really stuck more than you are fighting to gain something or fighting to survive or fighting to grow. You're fighting to sustain yourself where you are, and where you are is already somewhere that's frustrating, right? I also see the ghost of the influences die here, haunting us with oppression and disrepairs right here. These three are definitely telling a story as well. Um, Everything that brought you to this point was always feeling like maybe you were left behind, you didn't have enough, and now you're trying to sustain other people, and now you're doing it. But there's a huge amount of disrepair here in the work you're doing, because all the labor you're doing is like going here, going there, and so little of it is like coming back to home, coming back to self, and working on things that keep you going. This makes you feel like even though you're doing this by choice, like you're forced to do it. Over here and without, we have the gut wound. There's a feeling of betrayal. And this, I think, is, ooh, this is where we get into the back to the core. We have the gut wound. There's a sense of betrayal. There's something like you've put all your time and effort in all these things, and it's feeling suddenly like, ugh, what the hell was the point? Um, the people you're doing this for aren't grateful. The people you're doing this for are constantly seeking this like perfection space, and they're hopping on the bandwagon and they're like, oh, just come with us. And you're like, but I have to do everything else. I have to make all the meals. I have to clean all the things. I have to whatever all it takes to keep everything moving. And that's why I feel like you're given this gift almost of this gut wound. You have the option to give up everything that you're doing here. Give up all of that oppression, the weight, the constant work, the work to sustain others, then the return to the work, the isolation of it all. You could either further that, and it looks to me like there's a possibility that foundations could be found that will make everything easier in the future, but it's not here now. Or you could go this way to this full open spirit quarter, right? With the opening face on the weird eye. You can choose to let this fall aside, go back to the bones of what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, what you want for yourself, and find a whole open space for your heart. And that is really tempting. Immaterial, we have together focus. People are very, very focused here, and maybe a little hyper focused on the idea of like togetherness and what we're doing as community and what we're accomplishing together. Over here we have the dark sun, or the bad luck face. Basically we have the egg from the metamorphosis die, and we also have the cup from the suits die. They're in an inverse triangle. Inverse triangles are not very stable. It means that this one thing is supporting both of these. Materially, what the world is doing and how it's affecting you is like the crux of other people's joy here, or the joy as crux perhaps, is reaching up to these two and holding these. This egg, which is infant, right, having the baby, which can't do anything on itself, which is growing but needed all this sustenance to exist in the first place, needs to be babied and taken care of. And the bad luck is frustrating. It looks like you're probably in a position where you're always dealing with other people's problems, right? Like other people have a rough day, a bad string of customers at work, a bad whatever, and things don't go right. And then you are the emotional touchstone that helps refill their cup at the end of the day. Everyone else's baby, and you are super mom carrying all the baby. I do have iron here with vacation. I don't think iron and vacation should be together. Iron is attack and defense, right? It's the spear and the shield. Um, Iron usually should come up in things where you're like, I have to defend myself in difficult situations. But that being tied to vacation is like, you have to literally defend your time. In order to have any ability to have freedom from your responsibility, you have to fight for that, and then you have to defend it. And that's not how that's supposed to work, right? You're supposed to be able to take that kind of time to be free of the stress and all the hard labor. But it looks like to me you are so without it that in order to do it, you have to literally like push people off. That's just not right. Coming way down here in autumn, these two dice did get lost. They fell fully off the mat. We have pathfinding and the radio. Way off in autumn. I'm reading those as, goodness gracious, there should be space for communication. There will instead be breadcrumbs for communication. It is going to be pretty difficult to solve the lack of sharing happening from people to you. You always have to maybe look across all the details that you know to understand what it is people are doing or what they want. And they're not being forward, frank, or open with you. And that's just not helping. However, these were lost. So these are upcoming, which tells me that right now you probably have even less communication. You know even less of what these people actually want, or there's probably less of a two-way street going on. You're not really being heard. We do have the hunter on the creature die, and we have the fear of abandonment and wheel. The hunter. Why are you hunted? This is a general... Okay, sure, yeah. It's a general pervasive feeling, right? It's in autumn. This isn't a specific person. This is more of a encompassing experience. The hunter is the feeling of being the prey, which super tells me this is not a positive experience for you. You are not in a position where you are being respected and heard and people are being thankful for all the work you're doing for them. You feel like everyone just keeps coming to take. The fear of abandonment on wheel right here is huge for why you're staying connected to all of this. It being in wheel is so strange. I think that it's been a strength of yours to feel the fear of abandonment because it's what connects you to other people, and you're connected to so many people, and you, even though they're not always thankful maybe, or it doesn't feel like they're thankful, it is why you're so known and why people are there with you and why you have so many people in your life. And that's a hard thing to hear because so many people will be like, that's not a strength. And it's like, it itself is not a strength. What it has done for you has given you an important platform of support, which I do think is there and can come around. You just haven't used it, I think. You feel like everyone just takes, but if you ask for help, you'll actually receive. Is kind of what I'm seeing. Over here, we have the schooner in spirit, in winter and wheel. The schooner is on the mariner's die. I'll actually bring it up for you to look at. Bonk. Do. The schooner, my dear friends, is a complicated die face. It can mean travel, it can mean movement, but usually I'm reading the found family aspect. When you're working on a small sailboat like this, you're very, very close. You're in each other's business all the time. And you're also working really closely together. There is a general feeling that like people are there, but I really want to note that like spirit itself is pretty empty. Nothing's here. It's in winter. There's a feeling that there is like a family nature to this setup. I also see the weapon of nails and the redacted injustice. These are all fairly separated out. I'm going to read them kind of uniquely separate from one another. So I'd say that though there is a general feeling of we're all family here, which is like the scariest thing you could hear at a job. So if this is about a job, like big yikes. But it's on wheels, so maybe like there actually is a bit of a family experience to it. Eh, good or bad, your mileage may vary. The weapon nails though is telling me like there's very specific needling pains that happen here. Being present in this space with these people, especially if it's a job, because we do have the work thing here, which does suggest to me that this is probably work related. They needle you. Like, nails are a very precise pain. They don't go super deep. They're probably not going to kill you, but they see the weak point, the worst spot, and they nail it in. Not good. The redacted injustice, I think, really changes how I feel about so much of this reading. It means that something went wrong here, and it hasn't been recognized. And it's pervasive in winter, which is your spirit, which is your heart, which is your feelings. It means that so much of how you feel about being in this space is deeply affected by an injustice that you don't feel has been out here. So that feels rough. I think that reaching a new space, going on the other path, giving up this labor that you're doing for other people is the right choice, but that's like my personal opinion, man. Way over here, lost in winter, we have the rising sun. This is something that can come back around. It does suggest to me that like you can overcome and move through all of this and reach a new space where it's a new day and it's a new start for things. And I do see lost between spring and winter, which is like mind and emotion and pervasive to everything you're doing, is the knowledge that you have the tools you need, which tells me that either path is probably doable. And I would say that staying with this work and actually finding out how to make this function is also doable, because we had the 4 lost in spring, which tells me that there is foundation that can be made, the 4 solid legs of a table, and that this can be righted. There can be a sustainable way to do it, but it's not here yet. So all things being the same, if you have the tools to make either path work, I really think the path to take is to give up this oppressive, we literally have oppressive, right? We have this oppressive labor that is making you feel separate from yourself and like you've lost yourself in whatever way. So that was a 43 die reading because the chaos die is gone. I wonder where the chaos die is. No idea. Huh. I'm gonna like crawl on the floor and find this. There we go, everyone. That's a 43 die reading. I don't think it took too much longer than a standard reading, but it is 40 minutes into the stream now, and I've only done one reading. So I'm getting the vibe that it took a little while. Yeah, I've talked about this a few times in the streams, but like I really do think these dice are really, really good for intuitive readers. What you're exploring and doing here is creating narrative threads between the dice and just connecting them and walking through the full reading that way. It doesn't technically matter how many dice are on the mat, right? Because you can just kind of do that. But that was a lot of dice. It took a lot longer than normal. Oh, I'm gonna go nuts. I need to know where this die is. I'm not saying there's a lot of things on my floor, but I'm not saying there aren't. Oh my gosh. If Tom ate a die, that'll be such a problem later. Aw, thanks. You're all really sweet. You could, but should you? Yeah, probably not. 44 dice would be pretty wild. I got a smaller one if you'd like. I'm thinking about going to the Blind Guardian concert this December. Is that a good idea? The Blind Guardian concert. Yeah, I dearly hope that Tom wouldn't eat a die either. Uh, Knowing him, he has like an iron stomach. That's not true. He just eats anything. If he really did eat it, I bet he would just poop it out. So, that would be one benefit, hopefully. The Blind Guardian. Blind Guardian. I want to know about Blind Guardian. Who are you, Blind Guardian? Well, I can't click any of these, huh? German speed metal. Cool. Hell yeah, that's a great idea. Kimber, I don't even know what you were saying it to. Is it just going to the concert? I'm assuming. All right, B&W, go to this concert. You're unmarred. Oh my god, get out of here, D12. Stupid D12. What do you want? The 8 is Scorpio. Damn it. I am so incredibly not an astrology person. The easy answer, B&W, right? Unmarred. There's a roulette wheel. It could be bad. It could be good. But I am seeing the miracle here, bridging body and material. It looks like it could be a really fun thing to do. Spiritually, so like more emotionally, it looks like there's an element of rebuilding yourself to attend this concert. It might be that this is something that could be good and healing for you at the time that you would do it. It looks like emotionally it'd be a little frosty. We got Scorpio, which is a scorpion. I'm going to read Scorpios being like probably strong, maybe nurturing in some ways, but also very defensive and able to strike back at a moment's notice. I'm making that up because I don't know anything about Scorpios. Someone will tell me in the chat, I'm sure. I'm also seeing the brick, just tell me that there's strong foundations here that are really good for you. I see dream. I see worry out in spring. It looks like you're actually worried about it for some reason. It's like kind of a pervasive thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can make that trip, or I don't know if maybe you can afford it at that time when it comes around. I'm not sure. I do see friends, like loyalty to friends. I also see anxiety, bodily anxiety about it. Are you worried about some maybe physical limitations in attending the concert? Because I will say, like, you've got like literally like the miracle face sitting here between body and material, which is telling me that like the things that could go right will just seem to go right. The wheel here is sometimes like things are left to fate. You just don't know. But paired with the miracle and the unmarred hand here is really telling me like it looks like things just kind of click. Like this is a good thing to go after. Redacted identity. It looks like you're kind of apart from people. You've been giving something up. And I feel like attending is something that is suggesting it could help with that. I'm also seeing writing about it. Have you used their work to help inspire things for you? Because that's kind of what I'm getting the vibe of. All signs point to yes. And to yes. That's your range of whether or not you should go to that concert. Oh yeah, the Dark Owl was there. I don't know where it was. I just accidentally hit it while I was moving things, so I don't know what it was presiding over, but it does suggest to me that maybe going to the concert's a little bit bigger than I realize your question is asking. Mythic Mystic Moon. Yeah, hit me with a question if you've got one. And I'll continue to look for my die because I want it. O chaos die, wherefore art thou? I want you and you want me and blah 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 blah. That was my Chaos Die song. Everyone, I'm just gonna crawl around on my floor for a minute. Don't judge me. Goodbye. Hmm. Oh, Chaos Die. Wherefore art thou? The thing that Tom actually does do, if he gets something in his mouth and he goes to leave with it, which is how he operates, is he picks it up and he takes it over onto the ground and he starts hitting it away. So it's very possible that if Tom is the reason that Chaos Die is missing, he just took it somewhere and is knocking it around. So it could be anywhere on the floor in my living room. It could be anywhere on the floor in my bedroom. It could also be on my bed. I don't think he'd actually eat it, but he is pretty dumb. So, cats, what are you going to do? Hello, bird nest. It's only 3 more months until I go back, but it's still going to suck between home and work family. How do I survive this all, especially considering the whole U.S. situation right now? Ugh, so real. Does anyone want to get like a giant commune going where rent is like $30 because it's like a huge building and we're all in it? Because I'm poor. I don't want to pay money to live anymore. Ugh. I promise I'm not still looking for the Chaos Die. Oh, yes, you're right, Mythic Miss Moon. There's more behind this. I'm back home from UNC Asheville for the summer. Had to pack up my things and put them back in the closet, literally and metaphorically. Back to being not trans and totally normal. Ugh. Ugh. Oh no. I don't like that. Can we put that back in the closet? That's where I'm at. All right. Nothing in the core. A lot in the mind. Faith and the schooner. We have financial progress. The arrow would be going down, tied with void. We have stress. We have the dark owl. We have the falling moon. We have honesty. This is quite a section over here. All right. What is... Something keeps happening over there when I move the mic. I need to stop touching it. What if the Chaos Die was on me? What if I put it somewhere? This is gonna bug me. No. Faith in the schooner. You have faith in your found family. That's a pretty easy given. Financial go down. Looks to me like mentally you're really thinking about how finance line go down, no money, have to go home, have to stay with family. That one's pretty just straight. There's the void here, so like there's nothing else coloring that. It's just thinking about how money no good, money go down, money not available. We have stress, unsurprising. The dark owl, you're really going to be observed, and that feels pervasive. The falling moon, bridging mind and spirit, deep on the within. It's kind of like you're going to enter a subconscious space, right? So much of what's going to like keep you safe is like accepting your subconscious space and like your unconscious self as being your true identity. You are fake on the surface to be safe. But I'm also seeing in spirit on its own here, honesty. And I think that like the honest truth is something that probably just has to come out in the end. It's going to be pretty big and weighing on you. I am seeing down here like fold. The hand that you were given needs to be tossed. You can't necessarily just put yourself back in the closet. It just isn't probably going to work. Emotionally, you're gonna hit the point, right? The breaking point where you just pop it off, and it's like, I'm not going back. I can't actually do that. I do see the Tempter out in Autumn. This one's me. This is me, the external force telling you that you are being tempted that direction. I feel like you're going to really feel like it would be easy to just slip to quote unquote normalcy. And a lot of the pain that you're going to feel and go through is going to be something you're going to push back on other people. And it's going to be like, well, I was put in this situation because of them. But while true in ways, you're still the one who's going to make the decision to go back in the closet. And that's going to be heavy, right? This one's just kind of unknowable, and I have no other dice to grow from. This is the influences die, which is arcane. It suggests that like the things that you feel are affecting you and what you're supposed to be doing is utterly unknowable, because either you feel choices are being made for you, or you feel like things are just out of your control, so you can't make a decision on it. So I think that the primary thing is to recognize that like the arcane influences here is pretty heavy. This is kind of giving up agency because you feel like you can't have any. But I think with the Tempter, it also suggests to me that you're feeling like you're returning to an oppressive system that you have no control or say in, when you do have a say now, right? You have made choices for yourself that have changed yourself in a really fundamental way. And it's not pretty and it's not necessarily nice, but it's like, I think that the other options are worth it, in that you're going to realize quickly you're giving up any power to acquiesce to a system that hasn't asked anything yet, because you know it's going to ask. And I think that maybe folding to them before they even try to enforce something on you is just going to give them that power. So how will you survive it? I think that there's going to be a tipping point no matter what here that kind of comes out. The stress, it just is going to hit. So I think that it may be worth it to do it sooner. I don't know. Again, like, yeah, you're saying right there, it is up to you what it means to make a different choice, other than just like folding into what they need of you. It doesn't have to be coming out. It could be other things. That's just striking me because we have like the honesty and the found family, which is where you had your faith. Like, there's stuff here. I would say don't give up your power before you're even asked to. Primary bit of information there. And yes, Autumn is a very pretty name, by the way. I say giving big readings. Grumpy Old Crone said in her review of the dice that she wasn't sure if she would be comfortable reading for other people because the readings she gets feel super personal. And I think that is the only way I read or have ever read. And I do think sometimes that the readings come across as being like pretty big and heavy. And I feel like every time I do a reading, it's always public. it's like a stream like this, or it's at a drinking event where I'm just set up and doing readings back to back for people who come to me, and their friends always hang out and just watch. And I find like there's something in my approach that is always trying to be kindness first, so that it's not just here's devastating information, go and deal with that. So I hope at least that you got a message here that was helpful, and you don't feel on the spot, you don't feel unfairly revealed before the people watching. That's something that just sits with me a lot ever since that review. She's like, I think they're too personal to read for other people. Exactly. Sometimes I need that heaviness because I get so trapped in my mind. Someone else needs to say it before I can take it in. I I know it's not for everyone, and I understand why it's not for everyone. But like the Misery Tarot, it is a dark, scary tarot deck that deals with really heavy topics. It's about trauma and healing, but it's supposed to be a kind, dark hand that comes out of the shadows to take you through the museum of your suffering, and you're supposed to be able to see it in a safe place, right? It's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be kind, even though it's horror and it is the worst things and it's all of the worst crap that can happen to you. It's supposed to be kind. Sometimes you have to see it in a heavy way and hear it to really, listen. Okay. I almost said my pedagogy, and I was like, I'm not teaching right now, but I guess I'm kind of teaching about the dice, so maybe. For anyone who is doing the the trivia, question like 9 was about kindness and compassion in the Alleyman's guidebook, and people were like, I answered compassion, thank you, and your answer said it was supposed to be kindness, and I was like, damn it. And I did change the answer. I changed the answer for the people who were like, it says read with compassion. And I was like, yeah, but it says kindness like 8 times on that page and what you should do with the deck. But fine. I changed the answer to compassion because the literal text says read these answers with compassion. So, all right. I folded. I gave in. Aw. Yeah. It wasn't very long ago. I was doing readings after a wedding of people who are working on Confluence. It was so cool. What a random thing. We were at a convention. These 2 people were there. One of them was working on Confluence. We were there for Confluence. And then, basically a marriage happened. And I was reading afterwards with tarot. I had the Allymans with me. And I was reading for someone who got up and went to the bathroom and cried, just sobbed about the answers that they got. And they came back and they're like, it was a good cry, but like, damn, that was big. And I was like, yeah, but like, it's important and you have to know, right? Making people cry at weddings. That's me. Sigh. Thank you, Kimber. Kindness was correct. It said kindness 6 times on that page. It said compassion once. But it never actually said read the cards with kindness. It said the deck is about kindness. Reading with the deck should be about kindness. And then it said, like, read the answers with compassion. So everyone's like, no, it says compassion. I was like, no, it says kindness. Compassion is the word that I used in the Oracle Dice Guidebook. I tried to make it so I could have 2 answers on that trivia. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to solve that. I did change it to compassion because technically that's right, and technically is like the most true. And that annoys me. I think I might change it back to kindness. I might just give and take like a monster. I feel like kindness is the answer, but people were fighting me. I don't know. I might waive the question. Maybe I'll just delete it, hide it away. I have no idea. Maybe I'll do a bonus question that replaces it. That asks the exact same question, but it's like, what word gets used the most on this page? It's kindness. Michelle Bonilla. I would love to ask a question about my business. Ask. Do you have a specific question about your business? I'm sorry. Did other people ask for readings? I'm doing a really bad job. I'm supposed to be the reading creature, sitting on my stream, entertaining the masses. Oh, thank you. That makes me happy. B&W just said, your work has changed the way I practice for the better. I appreciate that lens of kindness. It is, like, honestly, I think the most important thing with all the tools that I make. I really hope that in the end, like, even when things are hard and you get the really difficult answers, that it's like someone is holding your hand and telling you advice you needed to hear, and not someone comes up and, looks at you and is like, you need to do this, and walks away, right? I really hope that's how it is. And that was one of the things with the Ally Man that I've always tried to, like, super stress, is I'm like, the Ally Man is about kindness. The Ally Man does not just approach you and give you terrible omens of despair. If I have a character guide, it's like, that's it. You can't make the Ally Man a Nazi, and the Ally Man needs to be kind in some way. Fighting you isn't very kind. That's funny. Yeah, sorry, Michelle Benila, hit me with your business question. I feel like someone else asked a question earlier too. Feel like I'm doing such a bad job checking the chat today. I feel like someone was like, can I ask a question here? And it's like, absolutely you can. Wow, the chat's been popping today. I'm scrolling back so far to find anything. Kimber, that's weird because my deck can kind of be an ass. Kimber, who's reading it? Who's reading your deck? Is it you? Are you reading your advice to yourself like an ass? Kimber? Kim? My friend? Huh? I'm just asking. Who's reading your deck to you? The deck is an ass? Or are you interpreting the cards in the harshest way because you have no chill for yourself? Who needs to be nicer to you? The cards or you? Huh? They give you static information. You're the one interpreting. So maybe that's a message for you, that you need to be a little kind. I think the chat is on a bit of a lag. Michelle, yeah, definitely. A lot of people tend to be a little bit behind on the live part of this. If you click the video and, like, drag the thing all the way to the end, you'll be a little closer. But yeah, there's usually a little bit of a lag. All right. I'd love to know if the road I'm heading down right now is the way to go, or if I'm just sabotaging my focus and just sell widgets to make money. Where's the middle finger emoji? Flip me off at your own peril. I have magic. I appreciate that you stick around, even though you shouldn't. I'm terrible. You're like, when will you do more Secret Hall stuff? And I'm like, oh, probably soon. And like 3 years pass. You've been so patient. I can't wait till next year when I actually release Secret Halls. What the hell do you say? Dependent. Well, Michelle Bonilla. Did I get your question? Absolutely, I did. Dependent. Burning day. Truth. I have nowhere to go in mind. There's nothing here. Your mind is too empty. It's too smooth for questions. Dependent at the core tells me like whether or not you actually have dependence tied here. If you need to just sell things to make money, I think you have to do that. And I'm so sorry for that. I think that the core of the answer is already here, and it's already saying that like you have to rely on the things that will bring you funds. And if the road you're heading on down now is like not a certain thing, but selling widgets makes money, I think you have to sell widgets. That doesn't mean you can't do other things, right? Out in spring, tied to woe, I do have burning day. It tells me like there's a lot of labor that you're doing, and you've got the general feeling of like, I have to do so many things. I have to do so many things. Woe is there as well. I think that you're probably just feeling a little burnt out from doing the things that make money, even though they can work. Out here, I have truth very much on its own, and I think that's why mind is bare. The honest truth is that doing the thing you know will make money, and doing this other thing, it's not that you're sabotaging your focus. It's like doing something else might not. You do have children? Okay, fine. I was like, dependence usually is talking about like children or people who directly rely on you financially. And I was like, I hate telling people, oh, I know you have children because the dice told me, but like, okay, you have children. Go figure. Okay, fair enough. I do see decay of progress in body, and I see the diamonds here without. It's like without summer body, kind of bridging all three. I feel like what you're experiencing is your burnout and your kind of decay and interest in doing the work that you're doing. There is promise of more out there, and I think that's what this is really about. I think that the other road you want to take is something that is a risk but could do more for you. And it does more for you than just finance, right? It might not even be good financially, but it could be really good for you mentally, emotionally, and personally, and more fulfilling. I'm nervous about that because the rest of the reading so far is like, look, the bare facts are these, right? And it's that this is going to work and this may work. And may and will are very different. In autumn, I see soul. And it's kind of on the without. It definitely feels like it's kind of out of reach. Something that really brings you love and joy in the material world that you have to interact with is kind of held out from you. Pathfinding and poison in material, which tells me that maybe doing this particular work is going to be a slow and frustrating buildup of poison. And that is something where you have to manage that carefully. I would almost go so far as to say it might be time for something else entirely. And it's not the thing that's risky. It might be something safe that brings in money that isn't what you're doing. Because it looks like this is something that just drags. So, we also have the tongue wound leading between spirit and core. We have the egg, which you already told me of children. And the arcane influence again. This guy's got to go away. I need to stop making dice faces that are, you can't know what this is, because then I don't know what this is. The tongue wound usually means that there's stuff that you're really feeling that you just feel like you can't say, and it's because you're really dependent on. You need to bring in this money for people, so you can't complain about it. You can't make it a problem for others. However, it is like the thing that you want, right? You want these children. You want these children to grow and be safe and be sustained. So maybe it's worth holding your tongue, for however long you feel it needs to take. And I have no idea. I have no idea what this is about. Something's influencing you that you feel is outside of you. There's one of those things where it can be a mystery where you can try to figure out what it is. But the problem with the arcane influence phase is it's very much like things outside your power have more say in the situation than you do. And because of that, you don't have a lot of, yeah, there's just nothing you can necessarily change on that yourself. So I think, see, I'm like reading what you're saying. You feel like this is your service, the purpose you're here to do. You're being shaped to be able to serve at the level you're called to. But I think that there's something to be said, right, of managing the level of poison that you're willing to let in, because it's definitely here. And only accepting it to the point where it's reasonable and then stopping. And there's another where like you keep pushing the boundaries to become immune to the poison. That's like inoculating yourself to the stress and the decay of parts of you that are suffering through the labors you're taking on. So I would say be careful. Be incredibly careful. There are breaking points even when you're devout, right? There are breaking points where you're like, I can't do that anymore. Make sure that what you do sustains you and the dependents that you care for, right? But I think it wouldn't be the worst route to even look for additional routes. It wouldn't be the worst choice to find additional routes, right? To bring money in. They don't have to be these two things you have. The one which you're stressed about and which is frustrating, or the one that you would like to try but is temperamental. There are other ways. You can still continue to serve, right? But just be careful. It's always possible to just, instead of inoculating self to the poison, just poisoning yourself. That's not good for you. And it's not good for your dependents either. If you become so burnt out that you don't think you can do it anymore, that's a complete collapse. So be careful. And that can be really hard. I have alcoholics in my family. You didn't say anything about alcoholism, but I'm just thinking about drinking. And actually I've been with an alcoholic who went sober, and the current person I'm seeing right now hasn't been drinking at all this year, and I just haven't really been drinking for a while, and it was really important and helpful for me. Because like after my sister passed a few years back, like I realized I did not have good coping options, and I began drinking a lot. And it wasn't like I was drunk all the time. It was like every night I went to the bar. And that became a whole big expense financially, time-wise, health-wise. And actually it was after that I found my partner that I was with for a while, who was sober, and with him I found it so much easier to be sober. And ever since, I'll drink occasionally. I don't have an addiction problem, which sounds like something an addict would say, but like I've never done that, but I think that just not drinking has been really positive life change for me. Right, exactly. Yep. And sometimes it's just best to set a timer on it and be like, I only drink a little bit anyways, but like I'm just not going to drink for several months, right? And sometimes that's really good. Hmm. Well, my friends, back to Let's Read with Kindness about heavy topics. Does anyone else have questions? I'm pretty happy to share. I'm also, I have to be honest, I'm nonstop thinking about the freaking chaos die. Literally, I've been thinking about it the entire time. I'm like, where are you? I now understand. Some people reach out and they're like, hey, I lost one of the dice of my set. How do I get a replacement? And I'm like, I don't know. You don't lose them. Like, I don't know how to get your replacement. I don't have a lot of extras to give things out. I have like just taken apart a set and sent some, but now I'm the one. It was me. I lost a die. I don't even know how I lost it. Uh, I'm sure if I just pick up everything on my, if Tom will tell us where it is, then he gets treats. Mr. Bombadil, Tom, I know you're eating and you're busy, but when you're done, could you show up in my office? Your boss would like to have a word. The Music Life 132. How can I support my friend as he's going through a rough patch? So relatable right now for so many reasons. I too have friends going through rough patches. We don't super have something in the core, but we have something bridging mind and spirit that's on the edge of the core, and that's pathfinding. It looks like the biggest thing that your friend needs right now is the trail again. Pathfinding is really important because it's not about tracking, right? It's not about following something. So your friend doesn't need instructions. Your friend does not need a guide to follow, but your friend does need to find the path again, right? Um, in mind, I see soul. That's this guy here on the element die. And this is telling me that kind of the main focus right now for your friend is this connection. Or I'm assuming in this rough patch, probably this lack of connection to a core identity of self, an identity of community or companionship. There's definitely something there where your friend's main focus is like something they feel particularly alone in dealing with. In body, I also see the heart on the major's die. Sideways, the smaller part pulling out into woe. We have big heart, small heart going to woe. Suggests to me that your friend is probably dealing with a split of some nature where they're getting less than the other person. This can definitely happen when one person puts in a lot of effort and focus and love into either a relationship, a job, a project, a hobby, and then it's kind of just pulled away and it feels like the other person doesn't care. That being the only die in body is definitely a little worrying. Body is what you do into the world, right? It's your physical actions. It's what you're working on. It's what you intend to do. Mind is also what you're thinking about, and this is super empty too. When I see like mind and body both really empty like that, it does suggest to me that either there's nothing there that's relevant to the reading, or in this particular reading, right, it tells me a lot of like your friend feels like maybe there's not a lot that they can do. And that kind of feeling of powerlessness and the only focus is on like losing is definitely a space where they could use some amount of empowerment. So could use support, absolutely. Things to do, definitely. But you can't give them things to do that are supposed to solve the problem. They need things to do to keep them busy so that they're not spending all their time just focused on this pulled apart heart situation, right? Yeah. Aisha, is the core meant to represent emotions? The core is the core of the reading. So if someone asks a question and I look at the core, that is the core answer. it kind of colors everything else. Everything else comes back to the core. So I'm going to typically relate anything I read back to this die because it's in the core. In material, so things outside of them, I see them weathering the storm here. Looks like they're facing extreme difficulty from outside of themselves. So they feel like they're really just surviving. I see ceiling, inevitable, and void. Void usually just means that, like, there's no other context you need for nearby dice. It's the suits die, so it can characterize things with elements of the tarot suits, but void is just like there's nothing here to see. That's just a little bit worrying to me to see, on like weathering the storm, sealing things, and viewing things as like an inevitability, and then the void. It gives me the sense that their experience with people around them and the situations around them, work around them, is just really depressing, and it's making them like putting them in a very like nihilistic place. That there's an inevitability that nothing is there, and that's like a little worrying for me. Aisha, emotions is in spirit right here. Spirit is your heart, it is your emotion. Mind is your logic, what you're thinking about, how you're working through things. Spirit is what you feel about them. So jumping into spirit, we have hearth, we have milkweed, and we have social progress. Here I am viewing hearth and milkweed as like really a doubling down of what your friend needs more than anything is the feeling that they are supported, that they are given rest and space to like process and work through it. They need things to do so that they don't just go nuts focusing on one thing at all times. But the things they need to do definitely need to include like low intensity hangouts, listening to an album together, watching a movie together, eating together. Milkweed and hearth really give me an idea here that this person needs in their heart, in their soul, right? A really good home cooked meal. They need a nice thing to know that like every day they have a place to rest in, to eat, to feel safe and understood and listened to. And the pathfinding thing is something that they're going to have to do on their own, but it's core to the whole reading. And it looks like what you need to do is be the support structure all around them so that they can find that path. The more that you push or maybe make suggestions of what they have to do next, probably leaves them alone. You know, the more that you push will make them want to not have your help, if that makes sense. So give them the space they need to find the path. I hope that helps, Music Life. I also hope you were here for that reading. I did it pretty quickly to you. Haha. Well, if anyone has another question, please shoot it. I'm happy to take a check on another question or two. I'm going to do the fastest rounds in other parts of my apartment to see if the chaos die is there, because it's going to bug me until I die. But talk amongst yourselves. Make yourselves feel at home. You know, who needs to be present on the camera during a live stream? Not me. Not me. Who knows? The mystery of the chaos. Godspeed with dice hunting. You're all so kind to me. You hit the nail on the head with everything. I'm sort of glad to hear I shouldn't give suggestions because it's such a hard spot to be in. Yeah, it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of listening to what they need to tell you to help them work it out. But it's a lot less telling them what they should do because they probably already thought about the things you'd suggest. It's not saying you can't suggest anything, but I do feel like the reading was saying the more you suggest, the more it could be a frustration for them. Time to bribe the house fae. Honestly, maybe I should. I'll go to the store and buy like a donut and be like, bring me back my chaos die, please. I know the house fae are probably playing with it, but stop it. I think it's because I keep telling people that I don't use the chaos die and I don't like it. It finally ran away. It was like, all right, jerk. You don't even like me. Then why am I here? I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be the worst. I just am. I'm like, it's not behind the keyboard. It's not behind the speaker. Mr. Chaos Die, donde está? Well, if anyone has other questions, I'm happy to take them. It can also be about the project. Oh, no. Oh, I should be fired. Do you know what I forgot to do, everyone? For the first time, I forgot to set an alarm. The add-on for the chest, the Wandering Dice chest, was supposed to be live an hour and a half ago. This is the first one I've screwed up. Oh, no. I literally, oh no. I was like, it's the start of the stream. It's great. Just when I'm doing the stream, I'll just do that and I'll let people know. Well, it's live now. It'll be live for, I guess, till the end of the stream. Oh no. And I put out clues and people probably figured it out and came around at 4 and then they were like, where is it? Whoops. Well, it comes back at 11 for anyone who did miss it, and at least I'll make a... Oh, I can't make an alarm. My phone's there, looking at the mat. I can't make an alarm. Only an hour late. Yeah, an hour and a half late. I even thought about it like 5 times today. I checked the time for when I was making it live, like literally several times today and yesterday to make sure that I didn't forget. And then I just didn't set an alarm. Ugh. So, if any of you want a cheaper dice chest, go get that. It's in the add-ons right now. Okay. Yes, Lady Amaryllis. Can you ask for a general reading? Yes, you can ask for a general reading. Will I give it to you, though? Yes, I'll also do that. All right, we're just grabbing the back ends on both sides. That's a good number of dice. Guilt. Hey, what are you feeling guilty for? Don't feel guilty, Lady Amaryllis. Don't do that. We do have guilt right here with the anchor and soul, and a neat little row here, bridging up from spirit to mind. You're definitely in a space where you feel like you're guilty of something, and it's a really heavy anchor. I'm not sure what that's about. I'm sorry, I was reading the chat. There's several threads going in my brain, and I've done a bad job. All right, so sorry. So there is a heavy anchor of guilt here. It's tied to soul. Soul is about like very personal identity, but it's like the element of very humanness. It can deal with love, it can deal with community, but it's very like personal. It's very you. Um, and I feel like the guilt is deeply tied to this. Like you've maybe are feeling guilty about something you even did to yourself. In your mind, I have the caterpillar, very much on its own. It's telling me that you're in a position where you feel like you're gathering nutrients, you're gathering change and growth, and that's good. I see freedom and radiance up here in woe and on the verge of spring. What do you want away from? Something is really bright, and I'm wondering what the brightness is. It's something that's too hard to look at, and so you would like to get away from it. I think that's really tied to your anchor. Oh, Onion, have a lovely night. In body, we have the longing, the want to be held. To be held is like a very you want care. You want someone to be present for you, to hold you and care for you. It doesn't have to be a person in particular. It can be a group. It can be a situation. It could be just the general fact is you don't want to have to do the thing anymore. You don't want to have to make the choices. You want to just be held. And then I have loss right here with material, which is telling me that this seems to be really tied to a relationship with another person who is no longer present for you. That's a big part of this guilt. We also have ceiling. Looks like there's something that you need to close off. Maybe it's time to kind of put an end to a chapter of your life, to let go of a relationship or an experience that is already done that you haven't been able to move on from. I'm definitely seeing that that's kind of an inevitability. You can't hang out in a situation forever where you're just thinking about all the things that went wrong or how you failed. Over here in wheel, we have social progress. It does suggest to me that like the positive for you is finding new spaces for support, new spaces for love. Doesn't have to be romantic love. It could be, platonic love, but you need those, and that will be obviously quite good and healing for you. It is literally in wheel. That's the good version of woe. Woe bad, wheel good. I do also have the rising sun and then personal transformation up here. Every day is a new day, right? Every day you get a new chance to set up what your daily practice is and what your first thoughts are in the day. You have a new way to look at, that empty space that maybe is no longer in your life, because you can choose to look at the things that are there instead. This personal transformation is kind of touching on mind. It's a spirit mind thing. The caterpillar tells me you're kind of working on this already. But there's got to be a shift in how you think about your day-to-day, to stop thinking about what's missing from it. Because that is like a huge part of this guilty anchor. So I would say you want to be free of this like radiance thing. The radiance is really reading to me now as like what used to be good in your life that now isn't there, and you would like to stop being blinded by the radiance of it. Radiance really works for that because radiance is kind of substanceless. It doesn't even mean there's anything there. It means you're kind of blinded by the idea of it, and you don't get to experience the thing itself. So yeah, definitely, if you want to be free from it, it's time to just do it. It looks like you're working on it. It's going maybe slow. The first thing, again, is to stop thinking about what's not present. Start just thinking about what is. And then if there are things that you would like to have there that are not, add them so that you can start noticing they're there, right? If it's you need close friends, you need romance, you need whatever, like then it seems like it's time for you to find those things so that they can be present for you. All right, someone do someone find out where the chaos die is. Where's the chaos die, dice? What did you do with your brother? Oh, there's a crown on the goal and movement. Yeah, God. I think the chaos die ran away. It's thinking about personal change. Really, this core is everything. The goal is unabashedly itself. The goals will eat your fries and yell about it, and there's nothing you can do. We got movement next to it. That's a die that went somewhere really far. It's not right here. It's not going to be easily found. Oh, that's not good. Materially and body, these are the things I care about. Hearth. I'll look around the fireplace. Materially, the rising moon. Ugh, I have to track it. I need tools for it. I literally was thinking I would love to have my flashlight for my camera, for my phone, and I couldn't use it because it's a camera right now. So I was like, yeah, I need it, and it is here. Okay, I need to use my light and go looking. I'm worried about shock. Shock isn't something I like. I'm worried about loss, which is out here in autumn. I feel like I'm really stuck on the idea that it's a little loss. And then we've got, this guy here, judgment. What is that? What does that mean? Why do I have to judge? Why is there judgment involved? Why am I be shocked about where it is? I do love that idea. Bird's nest. Bird nest is like, why don't you just throw one die and ask which direction it is in the house? All right, we're going to use the movement die. What do we got? It's pointing that way. That way is the edge of the living room, but my bedroom is that way. I am really worried he took in the bedroom because I have a lot of things in there because my business is too big for the small office. Strike me down. Mythic Mystic Moon, I did not miss your question. I just forgot to go back and read it. Goodness gravy. I do have a smaller question, maybe for the Misery Tarot, if it's better. Last weekend marked 1 year since a dear friend of mine passed. I'm doing all right, but wondering what else I can do to heal. Yeah, I'd be happy. Look, my cat would love to do that. Lady Amaryllis, I am hoping it was a very helpful reading. I don't know why. Even now, I still get really nervous when I'm giving readings and it becomes clear I'm going to say specific things about a person's life. Like, hey, it looks like maybe you lost either a person or a relationship. And then I'm like, what if this person's dating someone and they haven't lost a relationship? Now they're nervous it's going to break up. What if this person's never dated in their life or has never had a close friend or no one's left and I'm just a dumb fraud? And then, I don't know, by the end people are usually like, oh no, I know exactly what this is about. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't. So I guess I'll just be a nervous person for the rest of time. At least Tom can't swallow cards. You know, that's a good point. Maybe I shouldn't do dice. Maybe I should just work on my magic keys. And Kimber, just for you, because you're here. I realized really quickly that what I want to do for the short story collection, Tales from the Alley, is going to shift. It's going to have an ongoing narrative interspersed around some less connected stories. Because I want to actually advance the story for Julie and Kent and Jimmy and Alexia. So I'm putting more work on my plate. I have another book to write. All right, Mythic Mystic Moon. What do we have? All right. I'm just kind of dealing out a 5-card reading here. We start with the shadow. It tells me that I should talk a little bit about it. Each of the houses of the Misery Tarot, of which we have four cards, these are the minor arcana. Each of the houses kind of follows a path, and they go 1 to 7, and then a denizen and the ruler. The shadow is the ruler. It really, really is. It's difficult. The loss is always there, right? It never goes away. The shadow in the House of Blood explains a little bit about blood is the suit of hope. It's the 7th stage of grief. It's like when you come out the other side, right? And you ideally it means like you're free, right? The thing with the shadow is it's not evil, it's not bad. The shadow just is the grief, and it doesn't go away. It lives in the house, and it's not waiting for you to torment you. It just is the shadow of you. So I want to be clear. It's not like a horrible monster. It's not depression. It's not coming to get you. It's just like the loss is still here. And that's the first card, right? It doesn't go away. It's always going to be here. You can return to the house when you need to maybe have your night cry, to think about what's gone. But I think it's really important to note that like it's not meant to be defeated. It's not meant to be moved past. The flow is the 3 of blood. Blood is hope. The flow is the bleeding heart, right? It is, you're putting on the mask to show everyone that you're fine, but it's not you. And I think that there's going to be a little bit right now where you're thinking about putting on a mask and being like, I've experienced loss before. I'm not broken about this anymore. It's okay. But like, you're literally a bleeding heart right now. It's okay to lower that mask. But at the same time, I think that there's something to be said for like faking till you make it in this regard. What you're experiencing isn't something that necessarily has to be shared. Sometimes that's something you get to keep for you. It hurts, but it hurts right now, and just for right now, and it hurts just for you. It's not an everybody else problem. If you have people who like can share in memories of this person, that's one thing, and that's where we're getting to the Black Lantern. The Black Lantern is the 1 of the major arcana. It comes right after the 0, which is the victim. The Black Lantern is where you store your good memories before you go down the path of misery. And the idea behind that is the lantern is opaque. It's not a lantern to light your way. It's where you put your heart while you walk down the path of sorrow and pain. Because if you have that here, it's always going to keep you warm and safe, right? So it seems to me like you don't have to wear a brave face right now. There seems to be other people that you could probably hold memories with. I think it would probably be pretty decent to have some kind of gathering or vigil where you can share this space with other people, if that can be done. I know that's not always a thing for people. But yeah, it's been a year, and it's probably time for a little bit more of the warmth to come back. We have the orifice here. This is how you enter the House of Flesh. The House of Flesh is anger and bargaining. It definitely tells me that there's still stuff to be worked out for you. And this is something that you're still upset about. It's something that Flesh is anger and bargaining. That's the particular stage of grief. I don't think you're still in the stage of anger and bargaining, but I do see you like having some things to work out that you have to go and have anger about still. It seems like there's just things you need to like admit that you're upset about even now, and that's okay. And then the final card here is the Three of Nails. The Three of Nails is the memories. This is when you make a list of the memories of the things you need to remember for later. I think there's some things that maybe you'd still need to make peace with that are going to take direct action from you. And that's a list you need to mark down so that you can maybe think about it more day to day, and also try to find reasoning in it for like what resolution can be for you, because the person's not here now. You can't actually solve things that maybe you had disagreements on, right? But what does it look like to resolve the untied threads at the end? Because it looks like there's still some. So yeah, I would say make a list. What are the things that you still needed to know or you needed to do something about? And then what can resolution look like for you now? Do some of the things need to be let go of? Are some of them a healthy outlet for your anger to work through in some manner? Not sure. That's definitely stuff that it seems like you might know about. But yeah, I don't think that you're in the worst place by any means. And it looks like if you can deal with what is the current like anger piece, you kind of have the freedom to go off beyond that. That was the Misery Tarot for anyone who's here and doesn't know. I'm glad you had a memorial movie night last weekend. I think that's really lovely. Like my sister passed 3 years ago, and the main thing I did for her was like any time that I had a drink, which was often, right, I got like a shot of tequila for her and left that on the bar. So there's little things you can kind of do that become ritual, and I think that was one of my ways of trying to have drinks with her I never had, because we weren't super close and we really missed out on the chance to be. So I think about, what are the small ways you can resolve things that didn't get resolved. Her family kind of cut us off at the end and did her memory wrong. Yep. I get that. Very much get that. I also think that there's things that you have to resolve for yourself. Like I wrote a book. I wrote a book of poetry about it's this right here, Like Warm Plastic. It was about my sister dying, which is why we have such excitingly named poems as The Dead Sister 1 through The Dead Sister 14. But like this is not for my sister at all. There's like one poem in here that's kind of for her, but the majority of this was for me. And that's one of those things where you like have to remember the dead are gone. Funerals and our rituals and the things that we do are for us. So when I talk about like finding ways to resolve your threads, I really do mean like, how can you resolve this for you? Because you're the one with the loss. You're the one who's trying to find closure. So what does that look like for you? And for me, a big part of it was like finishing this book of poetry, apparently drinking a lot, and a number of other things. So remember, this is about you as much as it's about her, and work on that for you. Aisha asked, do you still plan to do divination coins? Yeah, I would like to. We had a decent thing already going. I think there just wasn't really room in my schedule to do them. And the way I wanted to do them, I don't know that the caretaker was in agreement with. I was trying to team up with the caretaker on it, and we both kind of made our own sets of coins, and I think we had kind of disagreement on what that looked like as a system. So I'm not sure. I would like to still put them out just because they already kind of planned. All right. Have a lovely night, Mythic Mystic Moon. Have a lovely dinner. Thanks for tuning in and asking for some dice and card readings. I really, really like to bust out the decks when I can. Any hoozles. I think also the divination coins had like a whole thing to me, right? Where it's like, am I just trying out different options? What will the coins do that the dice wouldn't? And I think I had ideas behind how they could work, but then it felt a little bit like a gimmick or a game. Difficult. I think one of the things that's cool about the coins, if I did divination coins, is that they're a lot more like a tarot card, where it's like upright and reverse, right? The coin only has two sides. One of the things that I think about quite a bit with the dice is there's 6 sides. When you add it to your reading, if the cups come up on the suits die, you can't have a sword somewhere else. What does that mean? What is that limitation? Does that stop you from getting an information, or does the fact that it was the cup over anything else have the meaning? Right? Like the fact that the dice landed on cup means nothing else here mattered as much. If a die ends up cocked, halfway between 2 faces, does that mean that it was actually important that both get read? It was so important that one couldn't be forgotten. I don't have issues reading the dice ever, right? And I do feel like I generally get full pictures. So I think that, if anything, it means that there was so much weight on what all I put on each die, right? Like, if the wounds die is in a reading, and you get it here, right? It's here, and now not only can none of the other sides be here, but none of the other sides can be anywhere else. What if it's important to know that there's multiple wounds in different places? It's not possible to do with the dice. So you only get the most important information, and then you miss out on some of the things that could be there. And yet they work so well, so I don't know. Like, I made intentional decisions about what all would be on what dice, right? That's like a given. It's true that this die is about wounds, so it covered different kinds of wounds in, I hope, a helpful manner. Who knows? B&W. I got one. Maybe with a combo of the hot housewives and the dice. I'm curious about how I'm perceived at my job. That is really curious when it comes to design. Aisha, do you ever use the dice oracle cards? And more than one side comes up in a reading. Aisha, I never use the dice oracle cards. I did the original ones. They're over on my bookshelf. But they were like little square cards, because it was like shaped like the dice. And those I think I had more fun with. A full oracle card for them, it just doesn't work for me. And it's one of the number of things, right, that I put in my projects that's not for me, but it's because other people wanted it. So yeah, I don't read with the dice oracle cards, but they exist because people want them. B&W, you would like a really quick question. I will do my best to give you the fastest one possible, because we have 5 minutes, and I think I have work I need to do before I can actually clock out, quote unquote, for the day. I'm really going to go look for that chaos die after this is done. The die pointed that way, so I can look in that general area of the living room and then my bedroom. And I swear, if I find the chaos die, I'll let you all know in the update. I never know when to stop shuffling. I just can't help myself. If you're here with me, I don't shuffle that much. I give it to you, and then I'm like, split it or shuffle it, whatever you want, and then I go from there, because that feels right. But if you're not here, what am I supposed to do? The house down the lane, Chekhov's gun, the mother of bombs, and propaganda. What are you doing at your job? Lady's mantle, you're self-sufficient. The reflective between mind and body tells me that people think that probably you're very, very perceptive, or that you might be a person who's very, very mindful of other people. You don't forget yourself very much and how you affect them. I do see disability in mind tied to house down the lane. You seem like kind of a loner person. There's probably stuff about you that other people feel is a little bit unseen or untold. I do see the ghost. It is haunting something. We have Chekhov's gun as the closest thing. It's a good sign that, like, it's an inevitable thing that things will happen. What is happening, though? Hearth and lantern. What the? Why are you haunted by that? This is people's perception of you. What you do. You're very present for other people and willing to take them under your like wing to show them things and help set things up. You can be very good at setting things up for other people and bringing people in, which is weird because I see the loner, the house down the lane's like the hermit, and I'm like, why do they think that you seem really separated but also you bring people in? But what's the ghost then? How are you haunted by that? You're so alone there, Mr. Ghost. What are you about? I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna come back and hopefully I'll find out. Loyalty to oaths is here to material. People really trust you to come through on your promises when you say that you'll do something. But propaganda, radio, and obsession. I'm getting the vibe that there's like some gossip going around about you with some things that you're really focused on. What is that about? There's gossip going on happening outside of you. I would see if you can figure out what that's about. It's about your obsession. I don't feel like the oaths is tied to this. I think it's just these. So there's gossip. It doesn't seem that juicy, but the fact that it's there at all always makes me wonder, like, what do people think? What are they talking about? I would just ask someone. It doesn't seem like it's a heavy thing. So I see wood and the falling moon on the mother of bombs and spirits telling me your heart. Dreams. Building dreams, renew the dreams. The mother of bombs. Terribly motherly. I'm getting weird vibes here on what people think you're feeling or what they feel about you. It feels like you're there and caring and supportive, but I feel like the mother of bombs twists something here with the wood. The wood is like, do people maybe feel like you pulled up the ladder with you? You're working in an escape room. What ladder? So weird. What is the ghost? Why do you work in an escape room? What does this mean? Help. Help. I need a professional dice reader. I feel like people expect that you're gonna like do something someday here. And it's not bad. It's like they just expect you to be there for them in a constant supportive role. But they feel something strange. Like they feel like you're there to be nurturing, but also there's the bombs aspect of the mother of bombs. Something's funky. They feel like something's wrong. And it's something to do with like the renewing resource. Are they being given everything they can be. Why is dream? Who's dreaming? What's the falling moon? B&W, come over to my house. Come over to my house. Let's do a longer reading so that I can figure this one out. I feel like this is my first I got stumped reading, and I literally did a 43 dice reading at the start of this. So there's funky things here. Figure out what's happening. What's the gossip? Because I feel like that's tied to everything. I feel like people are spreading something about your obsession with something, and that's like making it seem toxic in some way. But people are also know they can depend on you. So B&W serial killer confirmed. God. Nothing that dramatic, but it does seem like there's something that people feel like there's some level of toxicity. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know what the ghost is. I always view it as haunting things, as like underlying. Everyone expects this to like be there, or they feel like it's there, but why would they feel like it's a haunting presence of you being present to support them? That feels so wrong. I have such questions. B&W, come back during the closing of Project stream, and we'll do more readings, or just come to my house. You know where I live. I don't know that you know where I live. If you do know where I live, please don't tell people. I don't want a stalker. It was weirdly eye-opening. I don't even know what it was. You're gonna have to tell me sometime. Alyssa, I'm so sorry. We are 2 minutes past the stream, so I do have to go. But I will see you all on Thursday for the end of the project. I plan to be live like an hour or half hour before the project ends. And I do expect us to kind of go 4 hours. I don't know how long it'll be. I'll let people know when I have a hard cutoff so that they stop keeping me around. All right, y'all. Have a lovely day. Ta-ta.